Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chosen Wisdom and I'm here today to talk about Manchester United Football Club. It's been almost a week since our loss against Real Sociedad and the news has been flooding in. There is so much to talk about, so much to chop up with you guys today. It's going to be a fun show, loads of topics. Of course, we have our game against Sheriff on Thursday, so we are also going to do the preview for that game, who they are, what team would I play and why, so on and so forth. So much to talk about today. Jude Bellingham apparently is going to leave in the summer. Where's he going to go? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what Eriksen has said in the media about joining Man United Football Club, about the midfield. We're going to talk about Southgate potentially leaving Luke Shaw out of the England squad and what that means. We're going to talk about apparently Ten Hag is forcing the players to use their weak foot in training. Why that is news, I don't know, but we're also going to talk about that. There's a lot of talk about Scott McTominay all of a sudden. And there's a lot of negative talk about Casemiro. Where is that coming from? We're going to have a little talk about Scott McTominay and Casemiro and where I see that situation. So much to get into. Is Rashford injured? There's been pictures taken where Rashford is not being seen training. So we have a problem with the striking position and we need to get our strikers fit and we need to look after our strikers. We're going to talk about Marcus Rashford. And importantly, the fact that these games, or these upcoming Premier League games, for some teams have been cancelled. Man United against Leeds have been cancelled. And we need to talk about these games. Where are these games going to be rescheduled? In this already busy season where we're playing almost 2-3 games a week, where are we going to find time to reschedule these games? We're going to talk about all of the above. So much to get into. Before we start, smash the like, turn on your notifications, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Yes, guys. So, where should we start today? It's been almost a week since the Real Sociedad loss. And since then, as we know, the Queen has died. The Queen has died. Now, I don't want to offend any royalists or any people who believe themselves to be patriotic. However, I will say this. I don't understand why rugby league games are going ahead. Some cricket games are going ahead. But football games are cancelled. I don't understand that at all. I don't think there's consideration being given enough to the fans. A lot of the fans were coming from very far away, spending a lot of money on tickets and accommodation and so on and so forth, whatever. There's not enough consideration for those fans either. I strongly believe that football games should go ahead. I do. If the Queen's funeral on Monday, and Monday is bank holiday, for sure, nothing should happen on that Monday. But the fact that United, and let's talk about Man United specifically, we've missed the Crystal Palace game and the Leeds game will also be postponed. So that's 2 games that we have to play somewhere else. The international break is coming up, right? So players could go to the international break and come back injured. We don't know. And then shortly after the international break, we play more games, but then we go to the World Cup in December. So where are we going to fit these games in? And after the World Cup, after we come back from the World Cup, I'm pretty sure, guys, we are going to have injuries. We are going to have players coming back from the World Cup injured. How do you guys feel about the World Cup even happening in December, in the winter, in the middle of the season? I haven't really spoken about that. I don't agree with it. I don't think enough consideration has even been given to the players and the fitness of the players. And in today's day and age, players are just treated like flipping machines and athletes, and they're just breaking down all of a sudden. You're having players getting heart attacks on the football pitch on a regular basis now. And I think we need to accept that these guys are not machines and they're human beings with limbs and just like me and you that can break very easily. So I get the Queen has died and we must show reverence and we must show respect and all these things that, will be forced or people will force us to do. But there are a lot of people who don't let's be honest, there are a lot of people who don't care, who literally don't care, and just want to watch their football. And I just don't understand the approach why some games are going ahead, why some cricket's going ahead and some rugby's going ahead and football isn't. And they use a policing, reason. There's not enough police and so on and so forth. But the funeral's on Monday. The police need to work on Monday. That's it. So a lot of Premier League games are going ahead this coming weekend, but not the Leeds against Manchester United game because of not enough policing. However you think of that how you will, but it's just frustrating that there's not, a common theme here. There's no togetherness. Every individual organization is doing their own thing. And a lot of it is to do with pressure. I think a lot of people just want to show that they're patriotic and they love the Queen and so on and so forth. Because if they go ahead, the Daily Mail and all the other papers are going to come out and say, look at the FA. They're going ahead with their football games. Look at this, look at that. They don't respect the Queen. They don't love the Queen. And they're going to tie the two together. So a lot of people just have that fear. I reckon a lot of companies, organizations, institutions, sporting or otherwise, will have a fear of not looking like they're respecting the Queen. Whatever that means. That's how I see it. That's not the only reason why I think these are being cancelled, but that is, for me, one of the main reasons why I believe there is this pressure, there is this social pressure for everyone to appear sad and to appear depressed and to cancel everything that they're doing. I know that funerals, I've heard that funerals, people's funerals are being cancelled, so to show the respect to the Queen. I'm like, what? I have to cancel my grandmother's funeral to show respect for how does that make sense? So I don't know. I don't agree with all these games being cancelled, but it is what it is. And we need to somehow, I guess, find time to play these games and hope, it doesn't, mess up the fixture list and all of these things. So that's my two takes on it. Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham. Now, Jude Bellingham, he was introduced to Manchester United. He came to Carrington 2 or 3 years ago, before he signed to Dortmund, when Ollie was the manager. Looked around, apparently Jude was a Man United fan, and apparently even Alex Ferguson was there to woo him. And he still said, no, I want to go to Dortmund. For some reason, this week, there is a report in Sky Germany, I believe, that Jude Bellingham will be looking to leave this summer, and Liverpool and Man United are two of the front runners to get his signature. Do you believe that? How true do you think that is? Now, I'm being serious. Answer that question for me, guys. I think he will be looking to leave. I think he's done his time, just like Sancho. I think I rate him for going to another country. Not many English footballers, especially at that young age, go to play football abroad. So he gets mass ratings for me. You can only play football abroad if you're English, if you're techie. The pace and power merchants, which is a lot of them over here in England, don't translate well to the techie football abroad. So most of them stay here. If you're techie, you will survive in Spain or in Germany. He's done his time. He's gained his experience. I think he's 21 now. And if he goes, he'll be going for around, I believe, 80 million euros minimum. I honestly believe that. That is Dortmund's model. They flip players. They buy young players and they flip them. Just like Haaland, he came to United. He got the tour. He rejected us. Jude came to United under Ollie, got the tour, got fed the project stuff. He rejected us. My question is, what's changed for Jude now to say, oh, I want to now come to Man United? Yes, we've changed our manager and Ten Hag is our new manager. And we're still yet to see the fruits of that. We're seeing some fruits so far, but we're still not experiencing Ten Hag ball. The players are still getting to know each other. He's still implementing his style. So we're not really experiencing the full Ten Hag ball yet. He's only started his project. So I'm thinking to myself, how are we going to convince Jude this time that Manchester United Football Club is the club for him? Do you guys even want Jude Bellingham at the club? My take is this. I'm fully behind Ten Hag. I like the way Ten Hag plays football. And whatever player Ten Hag wants to buy within reason, I will always support him because he's our manager. So I'm not going to say, yes, go on and get Jude Bellingham because Jude is a really great footballer. He is. But if my manager doesn't want him, if Jude doesn't fit into the style of play we want to do, then I'm not going to force the issue. I'm not going to even contemplate about it. For me, this is just a non-story. I'm going to wait until the summer, wait to see what happens. Does the manager even want someone like Jude Bellingham? I don't see why he wouldn't, but you never know. I fully back Ten Hag on whatever the manager wants. I back him. I see him probably going to Liverpool, but Liverpool don't really. I mean, they bought Nunes, and they spent 100 million euros for Nunes. Are they going to go back into the summer transfer window and spend another 80 million, 100 million euros for Jude? I can't see that. I really can't. And, he's got 2 years left on his contract, Jude Bellingham. In fact, that's made me kind of change my assessment. If Jude has 2 years left on his contract, it means Dortmund might not be in the most powerful position. So they might have to consider reducing their fee. I don't know what the fee would be, but I'm assuming it will be around the 80 million to 100 million mark, like they always do. Jude is English. He wants to come home, so they won't be able to keep him forever. They know what this is. They know what the project was. They know why they bought him. They bought him to sell him it off for a higher price and to make profit. That's what Dortmund do. So I see him leaving, but I don't know if it will be for Man United. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want Jude? Where does Jude fit in this long-term project, in this long-term rebuild, you think? Let me know. I want to know what you guys think because this is a channel where I will give my knowledge and I will give my opinion, but I think it's really, really good for me to understand your perspective so I can gain more knowledge from you guys. So let me know what you guys think. Ten Hag. In the news, it's been reported that Ten Hag is forcing the players to now use their weaker foot. Now, my first question was this. Why are we all of a sudden getting so much news and information about that's a siren there. Why are we getting so much information about Ten Hag's training? More than we got under Oli. Under Oli, we always used to say, well, most of the fans used to say that these players are not being coached. Football now is becoming heavily a system game. Oli is from the Fergie generation of, just go out there and give maximum effort. Not precisely very tactical. It lets the players express themselves, do things off the cuff, just do what you want to do. Whereas the new managers now are drilling in patterns of play. When you get the ball in this position, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. So systems now are so important. And I just think that now that Ten Hag, I don't understand basically why this has been reported. Because under Oli, when we wanted to find out what is going on in your coaching, these players look terrible. What are you coaching them? What is going on? When we were asking all of these coaching questions, because it was clear these players weren't getting coached. And like I said, football now is a system game where players have to be coached. We don't really have the Ronaldinhos. I mean, you do have the Neymars who can play everywhere and anywhere and don't really need coaching. When they receive the ball on the left, when they receive the ball on the right, when they receive the ball in the middle, wherever they receive the ball in any kind of situation, they know exactly what to do with the ball. We don't get those players anymore. These players have to be told, So I don't understand why all of a sudden we're getting so much information about Ten Hag's coaching method all of a sudden, when we were begging, crying out for info about what Oli was doing in the training ground with these guys, and we got niddle, shizzle, fiddle, bizzle. We got nada. So I think that's quite interesting. Is it because the British press are now more intrigued with Ten Hag and what he's doing, whereas Oli got a more free ride? What is it? I don't know. But in terms of the actual training itself, if it is true and he's forcing people to use your left foot, not your right, in this training method, in this coaching setup that we have here, then I'm all for that. I don't understand how professional footballers who play in the Premier League can't do basic things. I don't understand how a footballer can graduate and go up the ranks and not be able to control the ball well. Like someone like Lukaku, when the ball bounces off his feet almost 90% of the time, I think to myself, you went from the age of 5 all the way to the age of 18 playing this way, and you never improved that aspect of your game. Why? Why are some of the fundamentals of football, why do they not apply to you? Why do you not grasp them? Why are you allowed to not do the fundamentals right, but still be a professional? So the fact that so many players cannot use their opposite foot and they are professional footballers always surprises me. Why wouldn't you not want to use your opposite foot? Why wouldn't you not want to improve the other side of your game? Why would you just want to use one foot and one foot only? It just puzzled me. So if Ten Hag is doing that, good. I'm all for that. These players should be using both foot anyway. If you're getting paid 200 grand a week and you can only use your right foot, what the hell are you doing? You know? So that's fine. All good. But I'm just curious to see why so much of the coaching is being reported now all of a sudden. That's a bit weird to me. Anyway, Eriksen. I'm not going to repeat Eriksen quote for quote, but there's an article where Eriksen spoke about the midfield and said the midfield is a decent midfield. I think he mentioned Fred's name, Casemiro's name. Is the midfield a decent midfield? I mean, I would agree so. The midfield isn't amazing. It is decent. I would agree with that. And he also mentioned the fact that, you know, he had options, but Manchester United are a big club. You know, of course he would go to Manchester United because of the history. And I believe you also mentioned the fact that he didn't see himself, you know, playing for a big club after his injury or after his his heart scare. And, you know, a lot of people will be excited about that, about his quotes, about the fact that, he loves I don't think he said he loves Man United, but, Man United are a big club and he'll work hard, all these things. But you know what? These quotes from Eriksen are just normal quotes. I think as fans, we always get excited when we hear somebody who says they always wanted to play for the club and it was a dream to play for Manchester United and all these things. We like to hear that because the club is us. We live through the club. We feel through the club. Rightfully or wrongly, we treat the club like ourselves. We will all love to play for Man United. All of us will love to play for Man United. So when we hear a fan say how much they love to play for Man United, it makes us feel good. You know, we can connect with that fan because they have the same feeling as we do. But I want to ask you guys this question. Do you think any of Man City's players, Aguero, De Bruyne, David Silva, when they were 12 years old, dreamt of playing for Man City? So why does it matter? I'm asking this question because it makes us feel good to hear players talk about a club positively and how they've always dreamt of playing for Man United. And Man United is the biggest club in the world. All these things. Every player who we sign will say these things. All of them. But nobody grew up wanting to play for Man City. But Man City are the best team, arguably the best footballing team in the world. And they have the best players. And they win all the trophies. And they win the Premier League every year with a group of players who none of them wanted to ever play for Man City ever when they were young. So why does it matter? As long as a footballer plays well, it doesn't matter if they wanted to play for this club or not. We're just so emotional and we tie ourselves to the football club so much that we just want to hear good things and positive things about the club, to the point where when the club is critiqued by a footballer who plays for the club, who comes out and says some of what we all think anyway, we get offended because we treat the football club as an extension of ourselves. Rightfully or wrongfully, Man United is a religion. But I just think we need to use more logic and less emotion sometimes, But yeah, Eriksen's spoken out. Eriksen has been really good for us so far this season. He's playing in that DM role where he's linking the play, he's getting the ball, and he's being our quarterback, keeping everything ticking, and he's having a good time so far. So yeah, he's been one of my players of the season so far. But we move on. Luke Shaw. Now, Luke Shaw, I believe, is a bit injured. But even if he wasn't injured, he started the first 2 games for us this season, the first 2 games that we lost. And he has been replaced by Malacia in the first team. And since then, we've won 4 games on the bounce. Not just him, the whole back 4 was replaced. The whole team changed from the first 2 games. You know, the Liverpool team was much different to the team that played the first 2 games. So not just him, but he's not getting back into this team. He's not. And my problem with Luke Shaw has always been his effort. I think Luke Shaw actually has the ability. I've seen it. He's lost the drive. He's lost the will, should I say, to do what I believe he can do. When we first signed Luke Shaw from Southampton, and at that time Southampton were producing loads of fullbacks and wingers, Gareth Bale, Walcott, Oxlade-Chamberlain. Southampton were just churning them out. So we got Luke Shaw, and at the time Luke Shaw was blistering. He was so quick, rapid. He could go from defence to attack quickly, dribble very well for a left back, good crossing the ball, good connection when he shot. He was 18. He had the whole world ahead of him. He was at that time, Luke Shaw was actually one of my favourite players. But let's add context. Let's add context, guys. The injury he suffered, and I think there was two injuries. And tell me if I'm wrong. I'm trying to recall from my memory right here. But I believe either in the Europa League or Champions League under Louis van Gaal or Jose, he broke his leg, and his leg was doing this, literally, when it broke. And he was out for that 9 months. And I believe before that or after that, he also had another injury. Those kind of injuries where you see your leg do this. Psychologically, you're not returning, you're not going to go into challenges the same way you did. You're probably going to come back and you're not going to be as quick. You're going to get more injuries on the other leg because you're going to have to compensate. And it's after that time I noticed Luke Shaw wasn't as quick. He wasn't as nimble. He wasn't taking risks. He wasn't overlapping. He would literally give the ball to Rashford, stand in his position, and Rashford would just pass it back to him. Then he would turn and give it to Maguire. Now, if you watch Malacia, he's like a pit bull. He's on your heels. He's on his toes. He's on your heel. He's bombing forward. He's overlapping and he's underlapping. He's tucking in as well as going around outside. He's got an enormous amount of tenacity. Actually, more than Luke Shaw actually had when he actually first came into United, and he just offers us more. So the fact that Gareth Southgate is saying, you know what? If you're not playing regularly, apparently this is what Southgate's saying, you're not getting into the England squad. You're not. Who is England's left back right now? That's a question for you guys. Who is England's left back right now? If Luke Shaw is not going to play, if Cucurella is playing ahead of Chilwell, I don't know if he is. Who is England's left back? Because Luke Shaw is not going to get back into this team unless Malacia gets injured. He will play games because we're going to play 2-3 games a week. So Luke Shaw has to play. But we will see. I'm not a big fan of Gareth Southgate and the way he plays football anyway. I think if England had a different coach, just a decent coach, they would have won the Euros against Italy. An attacking coach with an attacking philosophy rather than this defensive coach who I think only managed Middlesbrough and someone else. He's not a good coach. He's not a good manager. England can do better than Southgate. But yeah, what do you guys think about Luke Shaw's Man United career so far? My assessment of him, hopefully I was a bit fair. I mean, he's not rubbish, but I think with Shaw it's this. That is the main thing with Shaw. Is something stopping him from doing what he needs to do mentally. But anyway, last but not least, let's have a talk quickly about Casemiro and Scott McTominay and link this into the preview. Or we can talk about Sheriff. Let's talk about Sheriff. Sheriff. Or Sharif. All right, tell me how to pronounce it. Is it Sheriff or Sharif? I don't know. All I know is this is a team from Moldova. It's a Moldovan team. They've basically won the Moldovan League every single season. And the reason why they win the league every single season, the Moldovan League, is because they're the only team in Moldova that has any money. So this team, Sharif, has been dominating this league. I think they've won 20 or 22 league titles. That's absolutely insane. They regularly beat teams 5, 6, 7-0 in their division. There's no competition for them in their league. They qualify for the Champions League. And in fact, if I recall, wasn't it last season that they beat Real Madrid 2-1? And that was one of the biggest upsets in Champions League history. So they're a Moldovan side, very new team. Think about it. I think they were formed only in 1997. I see here. So they're a fairly new football club. So for a football club to be formed in 1997 and to have won 20, 21, 22 league titles, it means they've won it every year. It means they've won it every year. So it won't be an easy game. I'm still expecting Man United to win the game, but it won't be an easy game. It won't be. And that brings me to who should start this game. Because we lost against Real Sociedad. And now tell me if I'm wrong. Please tell me if I'm wrong, guys. Only the top team qualifies automatically out of the group, which means we're going to have to win almost all our games, including, in my opinion, the return leg to Real Sociedad. So we need to get our acts together. We need to start playing well in the Europa League, or we're not gonna get to the next round. What team should start? Should we start the Premier League winning team, which a lot of people are saying, or should we still mix and match? Is Rashford going to be fit on Thursday? That's a worry, because no Rashford, no Martial means we have to start with Cristiano Ronaldo. And if you've checked out any of my videos previously, you'll know what I think about Ronaldo. He can still offer something, but for me, he no longer offers enough going forward. He's a type of footballer who's the icing on the cake, i.e. when the whole team is finished developing, and you need that last piece of the puzzle, that striker to get you those goals, you might get Cristiano Ronaldo. But this team is a work in progress, and we need everyone to press. We need everyone to run and to contribute. And I don't think he does enough in that respect. So if Rashford and of course Martial is injured, but if Rashford is not fit, then we're going to have to start with Ronaldo. But what would you guys do? Would you guys start the Premier League, midfield of McTominay, Eriksen, Bruno? Because we have to start winning this game. Or are you confident enough that we will win the game regardless, and we will start Casemiro? Because there's a lot of talk now. Scott McTominay has been hiding in the midfield for the last 2 years. Many Man United supporters have now seen that Scott McTominay as a footballer isn't the best. He's not the best passer. He's not the best dribbler. He's not the best shooter. He doesn't have the best vision. He doesn't really play. I don't think he understands that DM position fully. He doesn't have the best footballing IQ. He has a lot of limitations to his game. However, over the last 3 or 4 weeks, he's played better. He's kept it simple. Win the ball, pass the ball 5 yards, let Eriksen and Bruno do the fancy stuff. And because he's kept it simple and he's no longer been asked to do more, he's looking better. But my question is this. If someone is doing 10 things and not looking well, not looking good, and then been asked to do only 2 things, for instance, and looking really good, he's therefore having an easier game than everyone else. Because Eriksen has to defend, Eriksen has to track back, Eriksen has to do everything that Scott does. Plus, he's passing the ball forward. He's dribbling. He's doing much more. And he's getting praised for it. But Scott McTominay now doing less, but maybe doing the less better. You know, you're only doing two things, but you're doing those two things really well. Means he's now changed the corner, and we shouldn't play Casemiro. What? No, that's not how football works. I get that if you're playing well, don't change your team. It's fair to keep, playing players if they're playing well. I get that. But if we know Casemiro is better than Scott McTominay in almost all areas of the field, and all it needs is familiarity and cohesion, Casemiro will get better. When Casemiro has started, which is I think once, he's looked okay. He hasn't looked amazing, but he will get better. So the idea that this guy, who many people say is not even as good as Fred, out of the two, Fred is the better footballer, and Scott McTominay is the worst. And we've said this as a collective fan base, most of us, to now say after 2 decent or 3 decent performances, he's the best midfielder ever, Casemiro shouldn't play, we should sell Fred and keep Scott McTominay. I'm like, whoa. In about, what if in the next game, Scott has a stinker, Fred comes in or Casemiro comes in, and we don't see Scott McTominay again for the rest of the season because Casemiro just nails it? Are people now going to say, Scott is crap again, we should sell him? No, it's just the reactionary nature of the fan base. Puzzles me. Let's wait and see what happens. Right now, Scott is getting away with the fact that we are playing counter-attacking football. We are playing defensive football. That suits Scott. Scott sits, tackles, fouls everybody, causes confusion in their attack, and makes his presence known. That's good. But when we start developing Ten Hag ball, when we start keeping possession, when we start being on the offensive and start pinning teams in, what's Scott McTominay going to look like when we want him to clip a ball over, when we want him to thread a ball through? What's he going to look like then? Just because we are playing a more defensive style right now and Ten Hag is trying to find his team, this is not the final team. This is not our final form. Don't be getting excited about the players you're seeing right now, because the team will change. It will change. So let's not get excited about Scott McTominay, please, guys. He's playing well, but he's not the best footballer in the world. He's not. So let's just relax. I would start Casemiro against Sheriff, only because we should beat them. And we need to get this guy playing. We need to get this guy understanding the way we play and playing with the better players, not playing with the B team, playing with the A team. So I will start Casemiro. I will start Casemiro next to Eriksen, and I will start Bruno. Of course, if Rashford is fit, I will start Rashford up front, Anthony on the right, Sancho on the left, and the same back four that we've been playing in the Premier League. So essentially, the only person I would change is Scott McTominay. Not because he's playing badly, because we have someone better who we need to get into the team. So, yeah. So, I don't know, guys. After Thursday, there's not going to be football this weekend. No Leeds game, like I said. And pretty soon, we're going to go to the international break. So, this might be one of the last football content or previews to a game that we do for a while. But it's been very slow week. But we're getting there. I hope you like the content, guys. Also, do you know what? One thing I need to think about is the fact that, or one thing I haven't thought about is the fact that Martial is back at the end of the month, and we've missed 2 games, and the next Premier League game we play will be Man City. And I believe he will be back. So there is some silver lining in the fact that we're not playing, these games, is the fact that Martial and Donny van der Beek could be back in time. But other than that, that's the only silver lining I can find, to be honest. Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened. I hope you like my little breakdown. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about whatever and everything? What do you guys think about everything I've just said? I speak really quickly sometimes. I've got a lot on my mind, but essentially I want to know you and your opinion on the matters. What would be your team against Real Sociedad? and why? And who would you start? I want to know who you guys would start. Yeah, what your opinion is on everything that I have just said. There you go. Thanks for joining me, guys. As usual, smash a like, turn on your notifications, and if you haven't yet subscribed, subscribe below. After every United game, I'm going to give my reaction, and I'm also going to give or do previews to the game as well, where we just come here, have a chat, have a chill. I use it as therapy. Let you know what's in my head. You comment below. You let me know what's in your head, and we just exchange ideas and gain further knowledge from it. And this is all this is about. I'm somebody who tries to be as objective and logical as possible and less emotional when I look at things. I try my very best. It's hard to remove emotion. We're all emotional creatures, and we all are led with feelings. Hence why we are fans. Being a fan is a feelings thing. It's not logical. You're pouring money into something that gives you a feeling backwards. You put money into something, and that thing gives you a feeling. It's not, when you think about it, it's not logical, but it's an emotional thing, however you think about it. But I try my best to approach things logically. When I talk about footballers, I try to look at the footballer's perspective as well as the fan's perspective, because as fans, a lot of times we don't consider the footballer. We don't. So yeah, good. I've enjoyed the show. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. Smash a like and do all those things. I will see you in my post-match reaction for the game. Hopefully we will win the game. I think we will. We have to win the game. We have to win the game. We have to. We can't be losing against no Sheriffs. Anyway, thanks for joining. Yeah, take care. Peace.